Hello, everybody, and welcome to SuttonsDaze. If you're new here, my name is Lisa, and we are all about pantry preparedness. Today, we're going to talk about 20 quick and effective pantry stock-up tips that are focused on budget-friendly to help you get that pantry stocked up in a faster manner, and hopefully, it will help you. Remember, the key to this is if you don't eat it today, don't stock it. Let's get started. Number one, you want to start with a fridge audit. That's another way of saying inventory, what's in your refrigerator. Everybody has those random bottles of, when did we open this in the refrigerator? Okay. So everything from condiments to jams, jellies, mysterious squishy stuff, hopefully not, but you want to go through, you want to audit everything that's in there. You want to make sure that everything is good and viable to use. And from there, we will launch, okay? So you want to discover those two half-filled bags of rice that might be hanging out back there. Because, for example, you might want to discover those two half-eaten open jars of pickles in the refrigerator, because that will save you from going to the store and buying another jar of pickles. So having that audit of the refrigerator is an important start to the process. Number two, you want to plan around the weekly grocery deals. Now, depending on where you are or what the store is, the weekly grocery deals come out on the weekend, or they come out on Wednesdays, or I don't know when. So you want to take a look at what they've got on sale, and you want to plan what you're going to be stocking up on and what you're going to be bringing in based on those sale items. For example, if you can get a great deal on a 10-pound bag of potatoes, right, then plan mashed potatoes or diced potatoes or hash browns into your weekly meal plan so that you have saved a ton of money on your side dish right there. The next thing is to build a staple bundle. Bundle things, right? It's like the greatest fad ever to bundle things and save money, but you do want to do that. You want to bundle your key 3 to 5 staples that you use the most, like say rice, pasta, canned beans, oats, flour, whatever it is, the thing that you use the most, the top 3 to 5, take your pick. So always keep at least one 25-pound bag of rice and a case of your favorite beans on hand, right? Because those are the things that you use the most. If you don't have that large quantity, then by identifying those 3 to 5 things, you can figure out what it is you should be buying by the case. So figure out those 3 to 5 key staples, the things that you eat constantly. The next thing to do is to start a price book. You can do this on your phone. You can do this in a little steno pad or a little notebook, whatever the case may be. But you want to go through, and when you come home from grocery shopping, or if you just happen to notice while you're out grocery shopping, write down the price of whatever brand that you typically get of, say, spaghetti sauce, okay? And if it's $2.99 today, then you're going to write $2.99, the quantity, so if it's a quart or whatever the ounce is, and then how much it is. And whether you buy it or not, that way when you do go back and you look, you can see whether or not the price has gone up or whether or not the amount in the jar has gone down, right? It's a big thing to keep track of your favorite things, the things that you buy regularly, so that you know when the price or the quantity fluctuates, because, that's what shrinkflation is. They kept the price the same, but they lowered the amount that you get for it. These are the things that you want to track. It's not a difficult thing to do, and if you do it in your phone, it's super simple. You've always got it with you, or on a pen and paper, just stick it in with your grocery list, and you can make a note as you go through. The next one is bulk buying, because when I suggest buying in bulk, I mean doing it for the things that you regularly eat. Rice, potatoes, pasta, that kind of stuff. Pasta sauce, whatever the case may be, things that you regularly consume that you know is a standard staple in your household at all times. So buy in bulk only for those things that you consume on a regular basis. Don't guess at this part, okay? So for example, if you can get a 50-pound bag of flour, okay, then go through and divide it into 5-pound portions, put it in your bucket or put it in the freezer, wherever you do, and keep a couple on the shelf to rotate through. When you pull one off, grab one out of the freezer or wherever you have, pull it out, let it do its thing. That way you're rotating through, and you can keep an eye on the bucket to make sure the bucket always has some in it also. But buying that bulk amount enables you to get more for maybe not a whole lot less, but for less, less packaging, less all that other stuff, and then you can divide it up the way that works best for you and your family. Spring is here. It's kicking in no matter where you're at. Some places are already 100 degrees. We're just in the 60s, kind of going, I love this, right? But right now is when all of your spring and seasonal produce is coming in. And so right now is the time to get ready. When you get it, you want to freeze it at peak. So grab it, freeze your peak produce because you can use it later. When seasonal fruits and vegetables are cheap, because that's when they're at peak, then blanch and freeze them for year-round use. If you have any concerns about whether or not you should blanch them, because that's not always the case, check out the link down below for the National Center for Home Food Preservation to the freezer section. I'll link you right to it, and it will tell you the process for freezing different things, because some things really are not as good if you freeze them without blanching them, and some things won't be good at all if you blanch them and then freeze them. So it's something that you definitely have to take a look at and kind of make note of. But if you get the bargain basement deals when they're at peak, when the price is the best, like right now, asparagus. Oh, hello, yeah. So right now, asparagus is at its best prices for the year. This is when we grab it up. This is when we jar it up or we freeze it. It's all good. You know, I did meal prepping for a couple weeks there. Legitimately, I didn't do it this week because we're still eating off the meal prep stuff that I made, for the last 2 weeks. But double up and repurpose your leftovers. It's a fantastic way to stretch your meals, not have any waste, and have that quick, super simple meal, lunch, dinner, whatever the case is, so that it's ready to go and you have saved money. So cook double batches of soups or stews or grains, right? Eat tonight and freeze some for later. It works great. Make a 2-gallon pot of chili or lentil soup or whatever, right? Divide it up, put some in the freezer. And that way there's no thought process and it's done and ready when you want it and you're too tired or too rushed or anything else to make a meal. You're going to save because there's no carry out, there's no delivery charge, no Uber Eats or whatever the case may be. It's there, it's done, it's inexpensive, and you know the cook. I am a huge pen and paper kind of gal, okay? So keep a pantry essentials checklist, and this is going to be different for every single household. So you want to maintain a list. You can laminate it, which makes it much easier, right? You can put it on your fridge or wherever you want, of must-have items and their minimum quantities. So if you must have pickles, okay, then you not only want the one that's open in the fridge, but you want at least one backed up on the shelf, right? And then as you're going through, keep that list. And when you rotate them through, make a note on the list so that you can move it over onto your grocery list. So always 2 jars of pasta sauce, 3 cans of tuna, whatever the case may be, 1 box of cereal. Just check it weekly. Makes it much easier to develop that shopping list. If you have them available to you, ethnic markets are a great place to buy fantastic food and get it most of the time at a better price. I really am bummed about the fact that we have nothing like that anywhere around us, but you all tell me all the time that ethnic markets are the best places to buy different things. I mean, these can offer beans, rice, spices at lower prices than mainstream chains. So it's something to check out. See if you've got ethnic markets in your place, in your neighborhood, wherever you are. Number 10 is remember, rotate your food, okay? First in, first out. Make sure that you're rotating it because that's going to be huge. And when you go grocery shopping, you want to put that new stuff that you just bought behind the stuff that's already on the shelf. Makes a big difference on quality and will help you keep track of how fast you actually go through it. Now, number 11 is DIY spice blends. I'm going to put a link down below in the description box. That's the show notes underneath the video. So if you are watching on TV, you'll need to get on a tablet or a phone or something like that. But I'll put links there to a playlist that I have called the DIY Kitchen. And I do my own onion soup mix. I will no longer ever give that company a dime of my money. I do all kinds of DIY stuff, taco seasonings or fajita seasonings, whatever the case may be. And that's going to save you a lot of money to be able to pick up those individual spices in bulk and then create your own spice blends instead of having to devote all the time, all the space, all everything to just one particular kind of spice that you may or may not use all the time. So do it yourself. It doesn't take any time at all, and it's a lot of fun. Number 12, I have recommended this forever, and I know a lot of you do it. Manager specials. Shop the clearance if you have grocery clearance sections, because I know I don't here, but I know a friend that does, and she shops it all the time. Or the manager specials, because you get a much better price because they're trying to get it out the door before they can't sell it. So you want to hit those typically in the morning is when they put them out. And it's a catch as catch can, you know, so it's not a guarantee, but it's worth a stop to look and see. Portion controlling your buying. It sounds weird, but it's like the only thing I could put together for it. So use small, clear storage bins or jars so you can see when you're running low at a glance. Because if you can't see inside of the container, then you're just going to whiz bang past it because life is busy, right? So store rice in 1 gallon jars or half-gallon jars. You know, we've got them. When one is empty, it's time to restock. It's just that simple. I do this with the clearish, opaque-ish containers with the lock lids, right? Then I can see when I have to restock the stuff that goes into them. It makes life a lot easier, and if you know what it is, then you don't have to label it. If it's easy to distinguish. If there's any question at all, put a label on it. As always, you want to leverage cashback systems, you know, reward programs, that kind of thing. I was actually asked the other day, I stopped in, I just needed some gum before I hit the gym. I just wanted some gum, that was it, because it keeps me from constantly going through a ton of water while I'm working out. I know I'm supposed to drink, and I do. And the kid at the register said, do you have a rewards card? And I'm like, no, just let me pay for it. And I have a friend that manages the place, and she goes, why don't you have one? I said, because I think that you should be offering me the best price, period. I shouldn't have to work so hard for it. That's not what she wanted to hear. So that's my belief. I still use the rewards programs and the you know, different stuff where you punch in your phone number at the grocery store, because a dime's a dime, and I get it. This was a pack of gum, I'll live. But when you're at the stores that participate in those, or you use the apps like that Flash Food app, you know, you can seriously make it worth its time. And if they do have just rewards programs, I mean, that's like 1% back. 1% is better than zero. This is something that is going to hit some people one way and some people another way, okay? So freeze your perfectly fine items. Let's take, for example, bananas, okay? Some people will look at a brown banana and go, oh no, throw it out, throw it out. What? Okay, no, you never throw out a brown banana. Brown bananas, once you peel them back, most of the time, they're still very good inside. It's just the natural oxidization, whatever, of the peel. And there's no reason to throw it out. But if you take it and you slice it up and you put it in the freezer, then you have a banana for smoothies or banana bread or muffins or any of the thing. You've just saved money instead of throwing it out. I will forever be amazed at the amount of people that just throw out perfectly good stuff because it's not perfect looking. Don't do that. Put it in the freezer. Use it for something else. You want to use airtight resealable containers. Like I said, I'll put a link down below for those opaque ones, the lid lock ones that I do. There's a ton of different options out there. The key is to remember that you want them airtight and you want to be able to see what's in there, and you need to be able to reseal them. So pay attention to the quantity, the quality, because sometimes they're not dishwasher safe. So if you throw them in the dishwasher, they no longer lock the way they're supposed to. Sometimes they're just only meant to use once or twice or 3 times. Sometimes if you put pasta sauce in there, then you permanently have an orange container. That really bums me out. You figure out which ones work for you. Glass, plastic, disposable, whatever. But these really, really help. Investing one time in an airtight container prevents spoilage and it prevents pests. That's what we're looking for here, to save money. Okay, so this is gonna not go over probably huge, but schedule a monthly pantry check. So you don't have to live in there. And if you're scattered throughout the house with where you're storing, you definitely really should add this to your to-do list. But set a reoccurring calendar reminder to inventory your pantry, update your shopping list, right? On the first Sunday of every month, say. And not only does that put eyes on the prize, it lets you know whether or not anything's been messed with, whether or not you got any hitchhikers, whether or not you're running low and you didn't notice because the kids got in there and ate most of it, you know? So if you schedule that once a month to go in there and just put your eyes on the prize and see what's going on, kind of peruse through it, make sure everything's good, make sure your stock is where you want it to be, then that's going to save you a bunch of money and you're not buying stuff that you actually don't need. Now it's time for some fun, because I know there's a whole bunch of meal in a jar kind of people out there, right? So build meal kits from pantry staples. It's fun. It's actually a lot of fun, okay? So pre-assemble dry ingredients for favorite dishes, put them in Ziploc bags, put them in containers that, lock up. So for example, fill one bag with rice, spices, dried vegetables, label it Spanish rice, just add water and a protein. It's like your own little rice-a-roni kind of thing, right? So there's tons of recipes for do-it-yourself, hamburger helper, all that stuff. And really all you need to do is add water and your protein, or not, and you have like an instant meal without the box from ingredients that you know and trust. And if you're one of my Thrive Life people, this is an epic thing to do with your Thrive Life. Proteins are getting ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. So a different thing to consider is to stretch your proteins, okay? So combine a small amount of meat with rice or beans or lentils to make it a hearty, lower cost meal. If you're making tacos for, 4 people, use a pound of ground beef and some lentils. Match the lentil quantity to the ground beef in mass, not in weight, if that makes sense. Okay. And mix it all together. Nobody will know, and you have saved whatever a pound of ground beef is in your area. That adds up really quick. So if you can learn to do that, if you can learn to substitute the actual protein for lentils or beans, then you're going to save a whole bunch of money, and it introduces the beans to the fam, It kind of gets them used to it. And then when they see it, they can go, oh, I'm not going to eat that. Honey, you've been eating that for years. Who are you kidding? And just turn it around, You have to be able to fight them with their own stuff. You really do sometimes. Okay, so last but not least, okay, is to practice the 1 in, 1 out rule. When you bring something in, a new pantry item, commit to using or donating an old one. And you can reverse that too, okay? So if I bring in a jar of pasta sauce, I want to make sure that I'm using pasta sauce. So you can either use it and bring in 2, or you can bring in 1 and make sure that you use 1 so that you've always got, you know what I mean? You just want to do the 1 in, 1 out, or the 1 out, 2 in. Practice that you're backfilling. And as you're backfilling, if the budget allows, you can increase the storage. So when you bring home a new pantry item, commit to using or donating an old one before adding a new jar of peanut butter. Finish or share the half-used one. But remember, I still say have 3 or 4 jars of peanut butter up there, okay? So if you're sitting with half in your cupboard and 3 on the shelf, then make sure you finish that one in the cupboard before you go replacing it and putting it on the shelf, because you can use that budget money for something else. In the comment section down below, hit me up. Let me know 3 to 5 of the things that I mentioned that you haven't tried yet that you may be willing to try. Set aside 30 minutes this week to implement some of it, okay? Just give it a try. I'm not saying to commit a whole day to it. Just give it a try. And then track what you save and adjust your strategy monthly. Tracking what you save will be a huge eye-opener, So if you save those receipts, make sure to go and put them in your book so that you can compare. And if they print out as horrible as some of them, mine do, make sure that you're writing them down as you're in the store, because sometimes that makes it easier. And we know that sometimes it doesn't always ring up what you think it should when you're at the register. With these quick, budget-friendly tips, you'll have a well-stocked pantry in no time that stretches your dollars, okay? And that's what we're trying to do right now. We're trying to stock the pantry and stretch our dollars, and it'll stretch your meals farther than ever before. So I'm interested to see the things that you're going to try so that you can stock your pantry and stretch those dollars. Be sure to leave it in the comment section down below. If you want to see more on different things that you can stock in your pantry, check out this playlist right here. Until next time, everybody, be safe. Stack it to the rafters, my friends.